Hi everybody. Today we are in Masafi. Masafi is a very special and beautiful place. It's almost 500 meters above the sea. And here we have an apiary for honey production for both seasons, cedar season and summer season. And we will talk today about how to handle in the hives and how to inspect inside a nest of a beehive. We will talk first about the reasons that the beekeeper has to have for open a hive. The novice beekeepers are very curious and they try to open their hives all days during the week. But it is a big mistake. Anytime that you open a cover of the beehive, you disturb the tasks, the work of the bees inside the beehive. And they spend a lot of time for return to the normal routine inside the nest. Then we need to have good reasons to open a hive. After we showed to you how to open a hive inside the apiary, we will start to talk about other handlings that are very, very important for managing beekeeping during a year. And one issue is about the wax that are used inside the nests, inside a beehive. The wax represents all structure of the swarm. Is with the wax that the bees create new bees and storage food as honey and pollen. Then it's very important we talked about the wax. And after they use it for different seasons, for different years, sequentially the wax can be with this dark color. Is it common? But why the wax will be with the color that is different when it is new? Because when the bees using the wax inside the beehive for create broods, the skin of the larvae and the pup stay fixed inside the wall of the cells, and it accumulates according the new generations of the bees will come for burning. Then the wax will start to change the color, and the most important thing, the size of the cell will be decreased, and a cell of a bee of a comb is naturally built with 6 sides, 6 squares. And after used sequentially for create broods, the shape of the cell will be a circular and decrease the size, which consequence this size of cell will be bring to us. First, smaller cells we will bring for born smaller bees, and bees that has a small size will have less capacity to fly and to bring loads from outside of the hive as nectar, pollen and water. And the most important thing is, with the decrease of the size of this cell, the queen bee that needs to introduce its abdomen inside the cell for laying the eggs, we will abandon this kind of cell and we will start to search for other cells that has the normal size and in another place inside the nest. It probably will create a disorganization inside the nest, mainly about the hate for create the brood. The brood will be spread for all nests and not orderly at the same side. That's why it's very, very important the beekeeper see what's happened inside the nest with the wax combs and start to change the dark combs by the clear combs already built of frames with wax foundation. This is correct, this is normal, stay inside the hives. This is not good. For the experience and professional beekeeper, only look very quick and the beekeeper, the professional beekeeper knows exactly which frames he needs to change. But the novice, the beginning beekeeper, there is a rule very simple for checking at the moment for replace this frame for this one. Only use it the sunlight and put the frame against the sunlight. If the comb allow the light pass here, is not moment for a change yet. But if the comb is empty, without food, without brood, and you put the comb against the sunlight and the light not allow across the wax, it's necessary to change. This is a simple principle for we check if the sunlight crossing the wax. It's very easy for the beginners for knows exactly the time for change and which frames we need to change. For change the wax, there are some details. First, you need to know that the bees needs to eat around 10 kg of honey for produce only 1 kg of wax. Then we need to have inside the nest crowded of the bees that are young bees until 2 weeks of life. These bees will be responsible for producing the wax, eating honey. We need to have inside a hive, of course, young bees. Besides this, we need that is enter inside the hive food, mainly nectar. If the bees need to eat honey for producing wax, if there is no enter any nectar from the flowers outside, the bees will not have conditions to producing wax. Then the time that we need to change this dark frame by this new frame, new comb, is when it starts the seasons, when the flowers is starting. And we need to be careful because when it starts the season, the bees start to storage honey in the dark frames already built, or the queen starts to laying eggs here. We need to remove at the maximum for each season 2 old frames, only 2. But we need to be ensuring that there is no brood and no food. We need that the frames is empty. When we remove 2 frames per hive starting the season, we need to introduce the new frames on the border of one side of the hive, of this side or this side. It's prohibited to use it to introduce the new combs in the middle, in the center of the nest. Because we have here our organization about the heat that the bees need for create the brood. If you introduce in the center, you will block this organization that the bees created before. Then you need to introduce these 2, at the maximum 3, but the normal is you replace 2 old combs by new combs on the border, close it for one wall, or the left side or the right side. This is very, very important. After the bees introduce honey or brood in these new combs, you can handle it and put these combs in the center. But at least at the first moment, you need to introduce from this side or from that side. Never in the center. This is very important. It's the basic and the most important management that the beekeeper or professional or novice beekeepers need to check all seasons for removing inside combs that has small cells that will create small bees with less capacity of work and flying and transport loads, and all times a change for new wax, all time. This is the first step for the success in beekeeping. After this first step, we will show to you the second step about the revision, that is enjoying the season, enjoy the crowd of the bees inside the hive, for splitting a hive, for producing a division of hives, for increase the number of the hives for the next season, if the beekeeper has hives producing. And we will show you different kinds how you can make a division of a beehive. Rafik, please bring the big smoker and the smaller that is inside of the bag with the material to burning. And starting to lightening both. We have here two different smokers. One is big and one is small. The big smoker is used in the countries that has aggressive bees. As for example, in Brazil, they use only the big smokers for have total control inside the apiaries when they are handling the bees. The bees in Brazil had origin in Africa, and they transferred some queen bees from Brazil that they crossing with the European bees that they had there before, and create a hybrid, a breed very, very aggressive, which name is Africanized honeybee. Then they used only big smokers for do a lot of smoke for control the bees. In our country here, we are using the same smoker mainly for harvest. You will see in the future we are harvest honey only with one guy control all apiary with the big smoker, and two guys harvest honey in two different hives at the same time. That's why it's a good option for who has a lot of hives using this kind of smoker. And after, on the right side, we have the traditional smoker that we use here in UAE. Only for you check the difference between both.